Okay, hi everybody. My name's Hina, and I'm coming to you from the Master Sha Tao Centre in London. And today we have yet another very special Facebook Live with this week we have another Grandmaster teacher of Master Sha's organization. For today, we have David Lusch. So thank you so much, David, for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And today's show is an a special favorite of not just the students here in London, but I'm very sure of David himself. Today's theme is about open spiritual channels. Now, David, as one of Master Sha's top leading teachers, you are often called upon to do readings, soul readings, your third eye images. Do you think that you were always did you always have open spiritual channels, or were you born with this gift?
Well, generally speaking, everyone is born with open spiritual channels. And then for most people, they close between the age of 3 and 7. Looking back with the wisdom I have now, I am aware my spiritual channels were open as a child, and even to some degree throughout my teenage, my young adult years until I met Master Sha.
So do you think there's a fair bit of humanity that actually is born with open channels?
I would say everyone is born with open channels. And I would say even as people go through life, they may receive messages. It may come as just all of a sudden a thought in the head when they weren't thinking about anything. And it could possibly be a spiritual message. And so people do receive messages sometimes, yet they're unaware that it's a spiritual message, and they're unaware that they may even have a little bit of an ability.
So I think, so what you're saying, what I think you're saying anyways, is that what human beings usually call like a gut feeling or an inspiration or being in the zone or in the flow, is that being open?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no, because our mind can does think. Our mind can put ideas and thoughts, and people's accuracy may only be 30, 40, or 50% because they haven't worked on it, they haven't reopened, they haven't developed it. So even if it's a gut feeling, it may be a wrong gut feeling, because we all know not all of our gut feelings turned out to be right.
Okay. So basically you're saying that we can work on our channels, on the depth, the accuracy. And what do you think is different about following Master Sha's techniques versus some of the other techniques that are out there that teaches people how to, they say, opening communication, or there's some people who say quantum leap teachings, and there's so many different modalities out there that speak about getting information from a higher source to help them in everyday life. So what makes Master Sha's techniques unique and more powerful?
So first of all, opening your spiritual channels is like training and developing anything in life. If you're going to, example, learn to run a marathon, or you want to lift weights, or you want to get good at yoga, or you want to get good at anything, it takes time, dedication, and practice. So you can train and use your spiritual channels like you would a muscle. So that's important to understand. Now with Master Sha, because he combines the ancient, he's a grandmaster of Tai Chi, Qigong, Kung Fu, I Ching, Feng Shui. He's trained as a Western medical doctor in China. He's trained as a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine in China and Canada. He has this incredible spiritual Tao channel. It combines the ancient, the Eastern, the Western, and the new. And it is done in a very safe, a very logical, a very methodical way, thank you, and that anyone can follow and open over time. So it's logical, and yet it's spiritual, and it's easy to do, and it just takes time and commitment. Now, I have found that people can open their channels in person. They can open them remotely. tens of thousands of people have attended open spiritual channels events and been successful. Even more watching, videos, podcasts, reading books, and more. So I have found Master Sha's system to be efficient, effective, and powerful, where in one weekend, people can speak their soul voice. People can hear auditory messages, and some can even see spiritual images. And then they go and they have to practice much more.
And what about those modalities that kind of use like there's one form of I guess shamanic healing, or sometimes they'll use like plant-based substances, and they say those help to open up people's minds and help them connect or see things. What about those types of ways of opening channels?
So I'll only comment on what we teach with Master Sha, which is this natural. You can do it yourself. There's, you're not taking any substances. You're not adding anything like that. And you're given all the techniques you can to naturally open on your own. So it happens in a safe and effective way when you're ready. We also offer very high level Tao light blessings that could help to assist in the development and the speed of the opening as well. Yet it's customized, by heaven, by Tao source, for whatever frequency and vibration is best and appropriate for you at this time.
Okay, yeah, that's really good to know, because I know with me personally, I always was a little bit worried about some. I would be interested in opening my channels, but then when you're taking some sort of like ayahuasca or some other type of substance, I would hear like, try this, try that. But it's really good to know that Master Sha uses natural ways, and we're not taking anything external. We're kind of cultivating our internal, and we're getting a boost with the higher frequency and vibration from the treasures offered. Okay, great. And can you tell me, how often do you use your spiritual channels?
I use them daily. I have a dedicated practice where I will do 3 kinds of soul communications daily. And then I use them throughout the day in my work. I use it with developing projects. I have, when I do personal consultations, I give people spiritual readings. So I use them in multiple ways throughout the day on different circumstances, to something that's very spiritual, to something that's even very practical. Like, when I moved to London, where's the best place to live? For me, of course.
Okay, so that's interesting. But what about someone who maybe isn't on their spiritual path? What would interest them, or what would benefit them to open their spiritual channels?
So when someone's not on their spiritual path, that's okay, because like I said, these are effective, logical methods that anyone can follow regardless of past experience. With that, why do you want to open your channels? Because life is better. Life is sweeter. We're all looking for connection. If you're on the underground, you're on the train, you're in the restaurant, people are on their phones, click, 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 looking for connection. And many people are dissatisfied. They're unhappy. Self-love, self-worth issues. There can be all kinds of blockages people are dealing with. And yet when they have a higher connection and they can receive higher information and answers, those things that were bothering them for decades or years, they can start to heal and transform. Or they can change their life. They can recreate their life with a new career, a new job. They can use their channels to find true love, to heal, to, do anything to make their life healthier, happier, and more successful, as long as it's of, positive nature, of course.
Okay, and you were also describing our spiritual channels kind of like muscles, that we have to train them and get them stronger to increase our accuracy. So for the people who have already taken this workshop, do they repeat the same workshop, or is there something else they go on to next? What about what about, because I love repeating this workshop, because each time I learn more, I gain a deeper understanding, my connection stronger. But in generally, do you recommend repeating these workshops?
Yes, I recommend people to repeat because there's always infinite layers of growth. Think of like if you're at the gym doing a bench press, you can always add more weight and gain more, or you can always bike a further distance. So with that, even if you're hearing a similar teaching, the Tao light frequency will bring you higher. The use of your channels can grow in depth and accuracy. So with that, there's always gains to be made. And when you make gains, then you can get a higher level message, higher accuracy, and you can even guide your life, improve your life much, much, much better.
Okay, that makes total sense. That explains why with my personal experience, each time I repeat, more blockages are being cleared. So that's why I feel my connection is stronger, or my channel like widens, because each time I'm here, the Tao calligraphy healing field, the group dynamic, just like being in an exercise class, like when you're by yourself, it's like, okay, I'm doing it. But when you're in a group setting, you're like, okay, I better
I really got to do it.
The teacher or the trainers there, other people are looking at me, so I try harder. So it's like that group dynamic, being in that field, just it increases more and more with probably the least amount of effort, which is a win for me. Anything the least amount of effort with the most results, I mean, that's what I would love. So, and you said you use your spiritual channels 3 times daily. You use it on for your work projects, or even true love. But what if you're kind of just learning how to you're just learning how to open? So what type of guidance would you give for people? Because if we want to use our spiritual channels for big life decisions, but how do we kind of know our accuracy? How would you say, how do we navigate through that?
So that's a great question. And we'll cover that in the Open Spiritual Channels Retreat, August 13th to 17th. Because when you're new, there's some important principles and guidelines that you really need to understand and follow, so you are able to use them at whatever level you are. So that's where they'll need to go if they're brand new, to really make sure they're using them in a safe and effective way.
Okay, great. So then there are rules when it comes to using our spiritual channels.
Of course, just like there's rules in how to lift a weight properly or how to ride a bike, there are some, common fundamental techniques and rules and principles we all need to follow.
Okay, that's really, really good to know, because before Master Sha, I know for me, I didn't realize that there were guidelines, that there were rules, there were spiritual courtesy, and all this does make a difference then in our accuracy and the amount of information that we can access. So actually this class, the more I'm speaking to you, David, the more and more I'm getting excited, and the more I'm appreciating that I have the opportunity to take this class again. And this class is August 13th to the 17th. The early bird ends on Friday. You don't have to be a Tao Healing Hands practitioner. There's no prerequisites to join us. So please, the link will be posted below this video. Please join us. If you're new, one of the sayings that Master Sha often quotes from ancient China is, if you want to know if a pear is sweet, taste it. And for all the viewers who maybe aren't that familiar, I encourage you, taste the pear. Join us August 13th to the 17th. Early bird is ending this Friday, July 16th. Find out more. So thank you so much, David. Truly appreciated your time that you took to speak to us, to our viewers on Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for giving us your time. And I hope to see you very, very soon. Bye.